The UK government has just published their draft online safety bill, and the section about porn has some campaigners up in arms. Let's explain what's going on right now. Long-time viewers will remember that quite some time ago, we released a video about the UK's proposed porn ban. This was all about the Digital Economy Act of 2017, which in Section 3 required porn sites to verify the age of all of their visitors. And we're not talking about a box where you can just lie about your age. We're talking about serious age verification, inputting official personal information to verify your date of birth. The justification for doing so was that it would protect children from adult content, but many were concerned that the system would just lead to privacy issues and end up linking people's porn habits to their personal, official identity. Anyway, despite the act being passed, this section was never actually enforced, with age verification never being implemented in the UK. Then the government officially announced in 2019 that they'd shelved plans to introduce age verification for pornography. Now, this is where it gets juicy, because following the government's decision not to enforce the law, 4 age verification providers took legal action against the government. Essentially, they argued that the government shouldn't pass a law, receive royal assent, and then not actually enforce that law, arguing that there was precedent against frustrating the will of the House. Then, in July 2020, the judge's verdict was handed down, and they decided in favour of the age verification companies. Now the judge had sided with them, the companies could go on and take the issue to an official judicial review, which could overturn the government's decision not to enforce the porn checks in the Digital Economy Act. Seemingly to avoid that from happening, the government announced in autumn of last year that they were planning to officially revoke the act. Essentially, if they remove the law, they can't get in trouble for not enforcing it. And that's where this new bill comes in, the Online Safety Bill. Clause 131 of this draft bill revokes the original age verification plan, which, let's say, has annoyed some people, with child protection advocates being very upset by the change of plan. So it seems that the government has given up on enforcing the problematic age verification system on professional porn sites, and instead they're attempting to limit adult material on user-generated sites, think social networks, preventing children from stumbling across adult material. Although, to be fair, many social networks already actively do this, with the likes of Facebook and YouTube hiring whole teams to remove adult and illegal content. However, the proposed bill would give the government the power to force companies to remove or limit the spread of illegal or harmful content, with a maximum fine for non-compliance of £18 million, or 10% of annual global turnover, whichever was higher, as well as the power to block sites which don't comply. You might be wondering how this applies to the big porn sites though. Don't they have their own user-submitted, so-called amateur content? Well, some do, but the world's biggest porn site, Pornhub, conveniently removed all user-submitted content at the end of 2020. Therefore, these new protections don't apply to them at all. And this does make some sense, because a child could possibly find porn on Twitter by accident, but they're not likely to go to Pornhub by mistake. So therefore, Pornhub and other big sites fall outside of the remit. Something which certainly upsets many child protection advocates. This doesn't mean that the whole issue's over though, with Oliver DOWDEN, Secretary of State for Digital Culture, Media and Sport, telling the Commons that the government will be happy to consider expanding the scope to commercial porn sites. So maybe we're doomed to loop this forever. What do you think though? Should the government just enforce the age verification measures which they proposed back in 2017? Or would verification checks lead to a privacy nightmare? And instead, parents should just monitor their own children? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. For more bite-sized news like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And you can find out more about this new TLDR Now series by clicking the link in the description. Special thanks to our Patreon backers who make videos like this one possible. And if you want to see your name at the end of videos, just like these people, then you too can back us on Patreon. The link to that is in the description.